ये दुआएं कुमैल है जो हमारे मौला अली अलैहिस्सलाम कुमैल बिन जियाद को सिखाए। किस अंदाज से मौला खुदा को पुकारते हैं, जैसे एक फकीर अपने मालिक को पुकारता है, ऐ खुदा आज हम खाली हाथ तेरे दर पे दस्तखत देने आए हैं। Oh Allah, we are lovers of Ahl Bayt alayhi salam. उनका वास्ता देकर दुआ करते हैं, या अल्लाह या अल्लाह या अल्लाह, all together, या अल्लाह या अल्लाह या अल्लाह. Today is a night to keep your sins before you. Immerse yourself into this beautiful rendering of Dua Kumail. Present your sincere istighfar to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ya Ghaffaru, Ya Ghaffaru, Ya Ghaffaru. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. اللهم إني أسألك برحمتك التي وسعت كل شيء وبقوتك التي قهرت بها كل شيء وخضع لها كل شيء وذل لها كل شيء وبجبروتك التي غلبت بها كل شيء وبعزتك التي لا يقوم لها شيء وبعظمتك التي ملأت كل شيء وبسلطانك الذي على كل شيء وبوجهك الباقي بعد فناء كل شيء وبأسمائك التي ملأت أركان كل شيء وبعلمك الذي أحاط بكل شيء وبنور وجهك الذي أضاء له كل شيء يا نور يا قدوس all together يا نور يا قدوس يا أول الأولين ويا آخر الآخرين اللهم اغفر لي الذنوب التي تهتك الوسام اللهم اغفر لي الذنوب التي تنزل النقام اللهم اغفر لي الذنوب التي تغير النعم اللهم اغفر لي الذنوب التي تحبس الدعاء. This is the first part, is to confess your sins to Allah, because we are asking forgiveness of those sins which become obstacles in the way of our qabuliyat of du'as. اللهم اغفر لي الذنوب التي تقطع الرجاء اللهم اغفر لي الذنوب التي تنزل البلاء اللهم اغفر لي كل ذنب أذنبته وكل خطيئة أخطأتها اللهم إني أتقرب إليك بذكرك وأستشفع بك إلى نفسك وأسألك بجودك أن تدنيني من قربك وأن توزعني شكرك وأن تلهمني ذكرك اللهم إني أسألك سؤال خاضع متذلل خاشع أن تسامحني وترحمني وتجعلني بقسمك راضيا قانعا وفي جميع الأحوال متواضعا. اللهم أسألك سؤال من اشتدت فاقته وأنزل بك عند الشدائد حاجته وعزم فيما عندك رغبته. اللهم عظم سلطانك وعلى مكانك وخفي مكرك وظهر أمرك وغلب قهرك وجرت قدرته ولا يمكن الفرار من حكومته. اللهم لا أجد لذنوبي غافرا ولا لقبائحي ساترا ولا لشيء من عملي القبيح بالحسن مبدلا غيره. لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك وبحمدك ظلمت نفسي. The first step of Tawbah is to confess that we have done wrong to ourselves. ظلمت نفسي وتجرأت بجهلي وسكنت إلى قديم ذكرك لي ومنك علي. اللهم مولاي كم من قبيح سترتها وكم من فادح من البلاء يقمت وكم من نسار وقيت وكم من مكروه دفعت وكم من ثناء جميل لست أهلا له نشرت. اللهم عظم بلائي وأفرط بي سوء حالي وقصرت بي أعمالي وقعدت بي أغلالي وحبسني عن نفعي بعد عملي وخدعتني الدنيا بغرورها ونفسي بجنايتها ومطالي. يا سيدي فأسألك بعزتك ألا يحجب عنك دعائي سوء عملي وفعالي ولا تمدحني بخفي ما اطلعت عليه من سري ولا تعاجلني بالعقوبة على ما عملته في خلواتي من سوء فعلي وإساءتي ودوام تفريطي وجهالتي وكثرة شهواتي وغفلتي. وكن اللهم بعزتك لي في كل الأحوال رؤوفا وعلي في جميع الأمور عطوفا. إلهي وربي من لي غيره أسأله كشف ضري والنظر في أمري. إلهي ومولاي أجريت علي حكما اتبعت فيه هوى نفسي ولم أحترس فيه من تزيين عدوي فغرني بما أهوى وسعده على ذلك القضاء فتجاوزت بما جرى علي من ذلك بعض حدودك وخالفت بعض أوامرك فلك الحمد علي في جميع ذلك ولا حجة لي فيما جرى علي في حرام وألزمني حكمك وبلاغك. Oh Allah, I have come back to you, although it is very late, but I have come back to you. وقد أتيتك يا إلهي بعد تقصيري وإسرافي على نفسي come back to Allah. How have I come back to you, O Allah? Proffering my excuse, regretful, broken, apologizing, asking forgiveness, repentful. وإسرافي على نفسي معتذرا نادما منكسرا مستقيلا مستغفرا منيبا مقرا مذعنا معترفا لا أجد مفرا مما كان مني ولا مفزعا نتوجه إليه في أمري غير قبولك عذري وإدخالك إياي في سعة من رحمتك اللهم فاقبل عذري وارحم شدة ذري وفكني من شدي وصوتي يا رب ارحم ضعف بدني खुदा को पुकारने में शर्माते नहीं अल्लाह ताला को इस वक्त अपने तमाम माजरतें गुनाहों के बख्शिश के लिए हाथ फैलाए खुदा को पुकारने में शर्माते नहीं खजालत न खुशी या रब इरहम ज़अफ़ बदनी या रब इरहम ज़अफ़ बदनी ورقة جلدي ودقة عظمي يا من بدا خلقي وذكري وتربيتي وبري وتضحيتي هبني الابتداء كرمك مصالح برك بي يا إلهي وسيدي وربي أتراك معذبي بنارك بعد توحيدك وبعد ما انضوى عليه قلبي من معرفتك ولهج به لساني من ذكرك واعتقده ضميري من حبك وبعد صدق اعترافي ودعائي خاضعا لربوبيتك هيهات أنت أكرم من أن تزيع ربيت أو تبعد من أدنيت أو تشرد من آبيت أو تسلم إلى الملاء من كفيته ورحمت وليت شعري يا سيدي وإلهي ومولاي أتسلط النار على وجوه خرت عظمتك ساجدا وعلى ألسن نطقت بتوحيدك الصادقة وبشكرك ناطقة وعلى قلوب اعترفت بإلهيتك محققة وعلى ضمائر حمت من العلم بك حتى صارت خاشعة وعلى جوارح سعت إلى أوطان تعبدك طاعية وأشارت باستغفارك مذعنا ما ظن بك ولا أخبرنا بفضلك يا كريم يا رب يا كريم يا رب وأن تجعل مضاعفي عن قليل من بلاء الدنيا وعقوباتها وما يجري فيها من المكاره على أهلها على أن ذلك بلاء ومكروه قليل مقصود يسير بقاء قصير مدته
فكيف احتمالي لبلاء الآخرة وجليل وقوع المكاره فيها، وهو بلاء تطول مدته ويدوم مقامه ولا يخفف عن أهله، لأنه لا يكون إلا عن غضبك وانتقامك وسخطك، وهذا ما لا تقوم له السماوات والأرض. يا سيدي فكيف لي وأنا عبدك الضعيف الذليل الحقير المسكين المستكين. يا إلهي وربي وسيدي ومولاي، لأي الأمور إليك أشكو ولما من أود وأبكي، ويلي من عذاب وشدة يملك للبلاء ومدته. فلئن صيرتني للعقوبات مع أعدائك وجمعت بيني وبين أهل بلائك وفرقت بيني وبين أحبائك وأوليائك، فهبني يا إلهي وسيدي ومولاي وربي. ऐ खुदा फर्ज कर ले कि मैं तेरे अजाब को बर्दाश्त कर लूं, लेकिन तुझसे जुदाई को कैसे बर्दाश्त कर लूं। अगर मैं जहन्नम की आग को बर्दाश्त भी कर लूं, आग की हरारत को बर्दाश्त भी कर लूं, मैं तेरे नजर करामत से कैसे महरूम रह सकता हूँ। या इलाही व सय्यदी व मौलाय व रब्बी, सबरतु अला अज़ाबिक फकैफ अस्बिरु अला फिराक़िक, फहबनी सबरतु अला हर्रि नारिक फकैफ अस्बिरु अला नज़रि इला करामतिक। أم كيف أسكن في النار ورجاء عفوك، فبعزتك يا سيدي ومولاي أقسم صادقا لئن تركتني ناطقا لأزجن إليك بين أهلها ضجيج العاملين، ولأصرخن إليك صراخ المستصرخين، ولأبكين إليك بكاء الفاقدين، ولأنادينك إنك يا ولي المؤمنين يا غاية آمال العارفين। जिंदगी का कोई भरोसा नहीं, हमें नहीं पता हमें अगले साल ये माह रमजान नसीब हो या नहीं। ऐ खुदा हमें इसी रात में इस लम्हे माफ कर दे। या तमाम आरिफीन, या गियास المستغيثين، يا غياث المستغيثين، يا حبيب قلوب الصادقين، يا إله العالمين. حفظ القرآن سبحانك يا إلهي وبحمدك تسمع فيها صوت عبد مسلم سجن فيها بمخالفتك وذاقت عن عذابها بمعصيتك وحبس بين أطباقها بجرمه وجريرتك، وهو يزج إليك زجيج مؤمل لرحمتك ويناديك بلسان أهل توحيدك ويتوسل إليك بربوبيتك. يا مولاي فكيف يبقى في العذاب وهو يرجو ما سلف من حلمه أم كيف تظلمه النار وهو يعمل فضلك ورحمته أم كيف يهلكه لهيبها وأنت تسمع صوته وترى مكانه أم كيف يشتمل عليه زفيرها وأنت تعلم ضعفا أم كيف يتغلغل بين أطباقها وأنت تعلم صدقا أم كيف تزجره زبانيتها وهو يناديك يا رب أم كيف يرجو فضلك في عتقه منها وتتركه فيها هيهات ما ذلك الظن بك ولا المعروف من فضلك ولا مشبه لما عملت به الموحدين من برك وإحسانك وباليقين عبت ولولا حكمت به من تعذيب جاحديك وقضيت به من إقلاد معانديك لجعلت النار كلها بردا وسلاما وما كان لأحد فيها مقرا ولا مقاما لكنك تقدست أسماء أقسمت أن تملها من الكافرين من الجنة والناس أجمعين وأن تخلد في المعاندين وأنت جل ثناؤك كنت مبتدئا وتطولت بالإنعام متكرما أفمن كان مؤمنا كمن كان فاسقا لا يستوون إلهي وسيدي فأسألك بالقدرة التي قدرتها وبالقضية التي حتمتها وحكمتها وغلبت من علي أجريتها أن تهب لي في هذه الليلة وفي هذه الساعة كل جرم أجرمته وكل ذنب أذنبت وكل قبيح أسررت وكل جهل عملت كتمته أو أعلنته أخفيته أو أظهرت وكل سيئة أمرت بالإثبات الكرام الكاتبين الذين وكلتهم بحفظ ما يكون مني وجعلتهم شهودا علي مع جوارحي وكنت أنت الرقيب علي من ورائهم والشاهد لما خفي عنهم وبرحمتك أخفيت وبفضلك سترت وأن توفر حظي من كل خير أنزلت أو إحسان فضلت أو بر نشرت أو رزق مسرت أو ذنب تغفر أو خطأ تستر يا ربي يا ربي يا رب all together يا ربي يا ربي يا رب يا إلهي وسيدي ومولاي ومالك ركبي يا من بيده ناصيتي يا عليما بذري ومسكنتي يا خبيرا بفقري وفاقتي يا ربي all together Ya Rabbi Ya Rabbi Ya Rabbi أسألك بحقك وقدسك وعظم صفاتك وأسمائك وأن تجعل أوقاتي من الليل والنهار بذكرك معمورا وبخدمتك موصولا، وأعمالي عندك مقبولا، حتى تكون أعمالي وأورادي كلها وردا واحدا، وحالي في خدمتك سرمدا. يا سيدي يا من علي معولي، يا من إليه شكوت أحوالي. Oh Allah, when I see the heavy weight of my sins, I get very despondent. But when I see your daily mercies, I become full of hope and confess my sins. لا تقنطوا من رحمة الله. Tawbah according to Shaheed Mutahari, Palat Ana, that is to return. Tawbah means to leave the wrong path and return to the right path. Ya Rabbi, Ya Rabbi, Ya Rab. All together. MashaAllah. Ya Rabbi, Ya Rabbi, Ya Rab. قوي على خدمتك جوارحي، واشدد على العظيمة جوانحي، وحبلي الجد في خشيتك والدوام في الاتصال بخدمتك، حتى أسرع إليك في ميادين السابقين، وأسرع إليك في البارزين، وأشتاق إلى قربك في المشتاقين، وأدنو منك دنو المخلصين، وأخافك مخافة الموقنين، وأجتمع في جوارك مع المؤمنين. اللهم ومن أرادني بسوء فأرد، ومن قادني فكد، واجعلني من أحسن عبيدك نصيبا عندك، وأقربهم منزلة منك، وأخصهم زلفة لديك، فإنه لا ينال ذلك إلا بفضلك، وجد لي بجودك، عاطف علي بمجدك، واحفظني برحمتك، واجعل لساني بذكرك لهجا، وقلبي بحبك متيما، ومن علي بحسن إجابتك، وأقلني عسرتي، واغفر زلتي، فإنك قضيت على عبادك بعبادتك، وأمرتهم بدعائك، وضمنت لهم الإجابة. فإليك يا ربي نصبت وجهي، وإليك يا ربي مددت يدي، فبعزتك استجب لي دعائي، وبلغني مناي، ولا تقطع من فضلك رجائي، واكفني شر الجن والإنس من أعدائي. All together. يا سريع الرضا، يا سريع الرضا، اغفر لمن لا يملك إلا الدعاء، فإنك فعال لما تشاء. يا من اسمه دواء، وذكره شفاء، وطاعته غنى، ارحم من راس ماله الرجاء، وسلاحه البكاء. يا سابغ النعم، يا دافع النقام، يا نور المستوحشين في الظلام، يا عالم لا يعلم، صل على محمد وآل محمد، وافعل بما أنت أهله،
وصلى الله على رسوله والأئمة الميامين من آله وسلم تسليما كثيرا. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليك يا نبي الله. السلام عليك يا أبا القاسم يا رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم. السلام عليك يا أبا الحسن يا أمير المؤمنين علي بن أبي طالب عليه السلام. السلام عليك يا فاطمة الزهراء سيدة نساء العالمين لها السلام. السلام عليك يا أبا محمد يا حسن بن علي أيها المجتبى له السلام. زيارة الوارثة. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليك يا وارث آدم صفوة الله. السلام عليك يا وارث نوح نبي الله. السلام عليك يا وارث إبراهيم خليل الله. السلام عليك يا وارث موسى كليم الله. السلام عليك يا وارث عيسى روح الله. السلام عليك يا وارث محمد حبيب الله. السلام عليك يا وارث أمير المؤمنين ولي الله. السلام عليك يا ابن محمد المصطفى. السلام عليك يا ابن علي المرتضى. السلام عليك يا ابن فاطمة الزهراء. السلام عليك يا ابن خديجة الكبرى. السلام عليك يا ثار الله وابن ثاره والبتر الموتور. أشهد أنك قد أقمت الصلاة وآتيت الزكاة وأمرت بالمعروف ونهيت عن المنكر وأطعت الله ورسوله حتى أتاك اليقين. فلعن الله أمة قتلتك ولعن الله أمة ظلمتك ولعن الله أمة سمعت بذلك فرضيت به. يا مولاي يا أبا عبد الله أشهد أنك كنت نورا في الأصلاب الشامخة والأرحام المطهرة ولم تنجسك الجاهلية بأنجاسها ولم تلبسك من مدلهمات ثيابها. وأشهد أنك من دعائم الدين وأركان المؤمنين. وأشهد أنك الإمام البر التقي الردي الذكي الهادي المهدي. وأشهد أن الأئمة من ولدك كلمة التقوى وعلام الهدى والأروة الوثقى والحجة على أهل الدنيا. وأشهد الله وملائكته وأنبياءه ورسله أني بكم مؤمن وبإيابكم مؤقن بشرائع ديني وخواتيم عملي وقلبي لقلبكم سلم وأمري لأمركم متبع. صلوات الله عليكم وعلى أرواحكم وعلى أجسادكم وعلى جسامكم وعلى شاهدكم وعلى غائبكم وعلى ظاهركم وعلى باطنكم. زيارة حضرت علي الأكبر عليه السلام. السلام عليك يا ابن رسول الله. السلام عليك يا ابن نبي الله. السلام عليك يا ابن أمير المؤمنين. السلام عليك يا ابن الحسين الشهيد. السلام عليك أيها الشهيد وابن الشهيد. السلام عليك أيها المظلوم وابن المظلوم. لعن الله أمة قتلتك ولعن الله أمة ظلمتك ولعن الله أمة سمعت بذلك فرضيت به. زيارة الشهداء كربلاء عليه السلام. السلام عليكم يا أولياء الله وأحباءه. السلام عليكم يا أصفياء الله وأوداءه. السلام عليكم يا أنصار دين الله. السلام عليكم يا أنصار رسول الله. السلام عليكم يا أنصار أمير المؤمنين. السلام عليكم يا أنصار فاطمة سيدة نساء العالمين. السلام عليكم يا أنصار أبي محمد الحسن بن علي الولي الناصح. السلام عليكم يا أنصار أبي عبد الله بأبي أنتم وأمي. طبتم وطابت الأرض التي فيها دفنتم وفزتم فوزا عظيما. فيا ليتني كنت معكم فأفوز معكم. زيارة حضرة عباس عليه السلام. السلام عليك يا أبا الفضل العباس بن أمير المؤمنين. السلام عليك يا ابن سيد الوصفيين. السلام عليك يا ابن أول القوم إسلاما وأقدمهم إيمانا وأقومهم بدين الله وأحوطهم على الإسلام. أشهد لقد نصحت لله ولرسوله ولأخيك فنعم الأخ المباسي. ولعن الله أمة قتلتك ولعن الله أمة ظلمتك ولعن الله أمة استحلت منك المحارم وانتهكت حرمة الإسلام. ونعم الصابر المجاهد المحامي الناصر والأخ الدافع عن أخيه المجيب إلى طاعة ربه الراغب فيما زهد فيه غيره من الثواب الجزيل والثناء الجميل. والحقق الله بدرجة آبائك في جنات النعيم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله وعلى الأرواح التي هلت بالثناء. عليك مني سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار ولا جعله له آخر العهد مني لزيارتكم. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى صحاب الحسين. السلام عليك يا شريكة الحسين حضرت زينب سلام الله عليها. السلام عليكم جميع شهداء كربلاء وأسيران كربلاء. السلام عليك يا علي بن الحسين عليه السلام. السلام عليك يا محمد بن علي عليه السلام. السلام عليك يا جعفر بن محمد عليه السلام. السلام عليك يا موسى بن جعفر عليه السلام. السلام عليك يا علي بن موسى عليه السلام. السلام عليك يا محمد بن علي عليه السلام. السلام عليك يا علي بن محمد عليه السلام. السلام عليك يا حسن بن علي عليه السلام. السلام عليك يا وصي الحسن والخلف الحجة أيها القائم المنتظر المهدي عليه السلام. الأمان 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 من فتنة الزمان. السلام عليك يا بقية الله في أرضه وعجل له فرجك وسهل له مخرجك وظهورك وجعلنا من عوانك وأنصارك ورحمة الله وبركاته. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. الصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا حبيب قلوبنا وطبيب نفوسنا وشفيع ذنوبنا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين واللعنة الدائمة على أعدائهم أجمعين من الآن إلى لقاء يوم الدين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. Brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. May Allah inshallah accept our prayers, our dua, all our dedications and efforts in His path inshallah, and reward us for our presence tonight in this majlis and in this gathering, and our dua inshallah, recite another salawat and gift it to Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad. Alhamdulillah, this great tawfiq, we're together, another opportunity. May Allah inshallah keep all of you guys under His protection, happy, healthy, and safe inshallah, all the time in your family. Last session, last Thursday, we started a topic that described Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as the tabib, the healer, the one who cures everything. And we mentioned any one of his representatives, such as Rasulullah himself, are the tabib, are the healers, can help and help the human beings to get rid of their true illnesses and issues and diseases, which are the diseases of heart, very importantly. We mentioned that one of the main and most important job of the prophets, and including the Prophet of Islam, is to awaken people and pull them out of jahl and ignorance. We mentioned that the enemies try to bring jahl through deen, to penetrate into deen and put jahl in deen. Something like practicing Islam or practicing religion ignorantly. That's what Bani Umayyah they wanted, Bani Abbas they wanted people to do. And we might see nowadays in some people that they like it, they are used to this, practicing deen ignorantly. What do you mean practicing deen? Yeah, practicing deen, but that deen that is through ignorance. It's not the deen in reality. Amir al-Mu'minin Imam Ali alayhi salatu wassalam, Allahumma salli. In Quran we mentioned that he said that Rasulullah, after 600 years after the Prophet Isa, he came and أرسله على حين فترة من الرسل, when there were a big gap between the Rusul, between the prophets. This gap was over 600 years, as we mentioned. And the Imam says, وَطُولَ حَجْعَةٍ مِنَ الْأُمَمِ. And at the time that people were sleeping, a very deep sleep. Look at the words that Amir al-Mu'minin is using to describe Rasulullah and what he did. So what he's saying that Rasulullah came when there is a big gap between the prophets, and the characteristics of this gap is that people were sleeping. What do you mean by sleeping? We're going to talk about it. Meaning that the voice of a prophet, the mission of a prophet, the voice of a prophet helps people to awaken. It's awakening for people. It helps people to come to consciousness, to realize, to understand what is around them. لِتُخْرِجَ النَّاسَ مِنَ الظُّلُمَاتِ إِلَى النُّورِ. It would help people to come from zulmah and darkness to nur. Why Imam Ali says طُولَ حَجْعَةٍ مِنَ الْأُمَمِ? Meaning what? This describing that people were in a deep sleep at that time. We have to analyze this with each other. This is actually one of the major goals of the enemies of religiosity and faith overall in all religions. And as we said, Christianity, Judaism, the same, they had enemies. They want people to be asleep. They want people to be to be sleep and not consciousness, not knowing what's going on around them. They want people to be numb. They want people to be fool. Just do certain things, you like it, just ritual, don't do anything else. Throughout the history, you see that the enemies of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the enemies of human beings, they try to put people in sleep and to sleep. Don't worry about this. Bani Umayyah, as we said, do this and that, praying. Walid comes and he prays the 2 rakat salat al-Fajr. He's the governor of Kufa, representative Khalifa to Rasulullah. right? He comes at the time of Uthman. What is he doing? He is praying 2 rakat salat, 4 rak'ah. In Jama'ah, he is the Imam. He's the Imam. He's leading the Jama'ah congregation salah, right? He's reciting 2 rakat salat al-Fajr, 4 rakat. Why? Because he's drunk. And he is looking, people says, Walid, you recited 4 rakat. He says, well, he was drunk. He says, wasn't it enough? Do you want me to recite more? To say more? Anyhow, when he was drunk and he didn't know, was not conscious, they pull out his ring and they took it to Khalifa to say, hey, look, he was like this. Anyhow, but what happened? Nothing. Nothing. People are asleep. Say the same thing. The Khalifa said, do this and that, change it or not change it. Everybody's quiet and everything is fine. They killed the son of Rasulullah, Imam Hussein in Karbala. And then right after that, the same day, the day after that, the bazaar of Kufa is open and everybody's living. Is it life? Is it awake, being awake, or is dead? Is death, being dead and being asleep? They were trying to do this for people. Nowadays, let's come to our day, our time. Nowadays is the same thing. They're trying to put you to sleep. They're trying to tell you that to be numb. If someone is doing something, if some people are saying something, if they're disrespecting you, your beliefs, your religions, Rasulullah, just be asleep. Don't worry about this. If they're disrespecting Rasulullah by, showing certain things, just be asleep. Don't worry about this. You're fine. You have your life, you have your job, you have your house. What else? What's wrong with you? Why you want to say something? Why you want to raise your voice, even peacefully, Nowadays, they're saying lullabies for people to go to sleep. By how? When? Look at all this social media and all these devices around us. You should be numb. You should be asleep. You shouldn't think. You should think about what we think. There are some documentaries online about the social media and devices. I want you to, with your family, to watch them. I don't want to mention some names, but go find them. That those who are the inventors and founders of these things are talking now, revealing the secrets behind this, which we're not against this totally, whole in altogether. But, we have to understand that the soul, the food that are being given to our soul every day, we have to understand and analyze it. If you want to go buy a bag of chips from the store, you read the ingredients, what is there, what is not there, how many cholesterol, what is the percentage of fat, and saturated fat, not saturated, blah, blah, blah. Then how come when God comes to our soul, food of souls that they're giving us, we don't read the ingredients. We don't understand what's going on around this. We just accept it. Turn on the camera, turn on the device, turn on the TV, Bismillah, let's eat, let's eat, let's eat. You don't do that outside. Wherever you invite you to any restaurant, you don't say, just bring, I'm going to eat whatever you have. No, you analyze it. You talk, you think, you ask. But they do this now to put people to sleep. They want people and religious people to be fooled, to be asleep. Radu bil hayat ad-dunya. Just be ready, be satisfied with the life, dunyavi life that you have. Don't make it a big deal. You know why you're making it a big deal for yourself? By reviving deen and following deen, indeed, you're reviving yourself. You become alive. Then deen would revives you. Deen would help you. The tabib, which is Allah and Ahlul Bayt, today revives you. What they're saying would revives you, would give you the life. Some people ask us, I know I'm living, but I'm not living in this dunya. I'm just working. I keep hearing different, video clips from different people, from brothers, sisters, clients. You know what? I'm just feeling I'm just working. I'm not living in this dunya. What kind of life is this? And you're right. You're not living. You're working. And I'm talking a lot of people in this world right nowadays. You're not living. You're working. You're not enjoying life. We don't understand what is life. We just work as robots. No one had more responsibility than Rasulullah and Ahlul Bayt. We know that. But they divided, they lived in balanced life, they understand what they're doing, they have time for ibadah, they have time for family, they have time for this and that. We think we just work too much. I'm talking about myself as well. Working too much, different meetings here and there, 2-3 hours, 4 hours here and there. Be so busy, that means you're so productive. No, sweetheart, it doesn't mean you're so productive. That means you're destroying yourself. That means you're being neglected from what is going on with your children. They're growing next to you. You don't understand what's going on. And God forbid, and when they become a teenager, you bring your son or your daughter to me and to others. Please, Mona, help. My son is like this. My daughter is like this. You see what is happening around the societies to other people's kids. but you might not feel, okay, how about my son? It's always about, unfortunately, sometimes we think whatever is happening is for neighbors. The issues are for neighbors, not for us. If the health situation happens, someone gets sick, we don't get sick, other people get sick, we don't get sick. There's some, interviews, you said, why you're not wearing masks? You said, oh, I think I'm fine, I don't get sick. That's how we spread out more. So what we have to understand is, no, it's for us as well. Let's see what Quran is saying. Chapter 8, verse 24. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu istajibu lillahi wa lirrasul idha da'akum lima yuhyikum. O people who you believe, make sure you follow Allah and Rasul to those things that can revive you. When they call you, follow those things that gives you life. Lima yuhyikum. What do you mean, Allah? Am I dead? That's what you're telling me is going to make me be alive? Look how Allah is treating us. We're going to talk about this. According to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, following deen would help you to be alive. Not following deen and the orders of Allah and Rasul, that means you might be dead. What do you mean? You don't mean be alive. What do you mean be dead? I'm alive. I can breathe. Yes, according to us, characteristics of a live person, that means breathing, walking, seeing and hearing. But we're sharing with these things with other animals. This is a physical life. According to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Islam, someone can be alive and dead at the same time. Can be alive and dead at the same time. Look what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes it here. وَمَا أَنْتَ بِمُسْمِعٍ مَنْ فِي الْقُبُورِ. You cannot hear, instead of being underground, the dead people, they're underground, right? These alive people, instead of being underground, they're under the ground, they're underground. They're just walking, but doesn't mean that they're alive. Why? Because they're away from those things. They're not following the orders of those things, following things that can revive them, give them life, a haqiqat of the life. So according to Islam, you're either alive or you're a disbeliever. You're either alive or a disbeliever. If you follow Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then you're alive. The true life, right? Quran says again in another surah, لِيُنذَرَ مَنْ كَانَ حَيًّا وَيَحِقَّ الْقَوْلُ عَلَى الْكَافِرِينَ. Quran would help those people who are alive. لِيُنذَرَ مَنْ كَانَ حَيًّا. Quran would help people who are alive. It helps not those people who are dead. They can't hear it. What do you mean? Those people who their heart is so rusty, they can't understand it, they can't hear these things. Another ayah to prove it exactly. Chapter 6, ayah 1 to 2. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. أَوَمَنْ كَانَ مَيْتًا فَأَحْيَيْنَاهُ وَجَعَلْنَا لَهُ نُورًا يَمْشِي بِهِ فِي النَّاسِ. Is he who was dead, then we raised him to life and made for him a light by which he walks among the people. Someone who was dead, dead means what? Dead by what? By death of heart. Then we raise them by what? By guidance among people. كمان مثله في الظلمات ليس بخارج. These two are different. Someone who was dead, Allah says, someone who was dead, then he became alive because of our word, our words, our guidance. When you look around, you see that. Some people, that the only thing that they worship is just the dunyavi perspective and money and everything. What is it? It's this death. So again, according to us, life, what is life? If we want to describe life, a dead person and a live person, what is the difference? Because Quran says, Allahu la ilaha illa huwa al-hayyul qayyum. Allah is hayy. Allah is alive. What do you mean? Allah is breathing, God forbidden. Allah is what? Allah has the blood or something? No. Then what we say about Allah is the two things about awareness and movement, about the knowledge, about understanding things around. You're aware of yourself. Alive people are aware of what is going on around them. Dead people are not aware of what's going on around. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who is Allam al-ghuyub, he understands everything. He's alim and khabir, he understands everything. That's why he's the most high, right? There's no death for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. هو الذي لا يموت والحي الذي لا يموت. The problem of some communities, some Muslim communities, is this. They think they're alive just following the symbols of Islam, not understanding the true and haqiqat of Islam. That's why it caused them a huge problem for these people, right? So anyhow, Amir al-Mu'min comes says, Rasulullah came to pull out people from jahl and ignorance. Something that we mentioned, that what is the jahl, the disease of the heart? We says Rasulullah is tabib. He comes to cure and to heal people. What is the major disease that can lead to death of heart is what? Is jahl and ignorance. Rasulullah came to help people to become alive. What was the remedy? What was the medicine? What did he come with, Rasulullah? What did he come with to heal people, to awaken people from jahl? فَجَاءَهُمْ بِتَصْدِيقِ الَّذِي بَيْنَ يَدَيْهِ. This Tabib, this Rasulullah, he came with what he had with himself. وَالنُّورُ الْمُقْتَدَى بِهِ. The one, this Quran that he came with to help people to come to life. Jahili and ignorant people at the era of ignorance, they were dead. What brought them back to life? Quran. Years and years of being dead was removed, those layers, by what? By ayat of Quran. Why you heard about this? Why the Quraysh, the disbelievers, they were commanding people, when you are passing Muhammad, cover your ears so you don't hear what he's saying, because it's magic. It would affect you. Why? Because of Quran. At that time, there was nothing else. Just ayat al-Makki in Mecca, right? Talk about Allah, talk about other Anbiya, just general ayat. There was no fiqh specifically, there's no other things in details, Islamic things in details. No, just moral aspects and just very general things. What attracted people to Islam at that time? Rasulullah was only one, this ayat of Quran. Then how should I treat Quran? What is the role of Quran among us? Surah Luqman says, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, ayah 6, وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَنْ يَشْتَرِي لَهْوَ الْحَدِيثِ لِيُضِلَّ عَنْ سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ. There's some people these people, they are those who purchase لَهْوَ الْحَدِيثِ. They purchase the absurd words, the words that has no value in it. Why do they want to purchase it? What is their agenda? لِيُضِلَّ عَنْ سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ. So they can distract people from the right path, the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There's some men among you, they're doing something to distract you from the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There's some apps around you, there's some softwares and some programs and some TV shows and some celebrities and some people and some speakers and some others that their job and agenda is to distract you from the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Quran is saying, Surah Luqman ayah 6, and this does not mean only for the time of Luqman or for the time of Rasulullah, for our time. Quran is mu'jizah javid, forever, right? It stays ila yawm al-qiyamah. They want people be amused by these things. Lahv means something that keeps you away from something important. You hear a lot in Quran, Certain things that keep people distracted from the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. One is taghut. Quran talks about it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about it in the Quran. Taghut is the same thing Ayatul Kursi said what? وَالَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا أَوْلِيَاؤُهُمُ الطَّاغُوتِ. Those people who have kufr, their wali is taghut. Subhanallah. They follow taghut. What is this taghut that is in front of Allah? وَالَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا أَوْلِيَاؤُهُمُ الطَّاغُوتِ. Those people who Allah is their wali, you understand? Those people who their wali is taghut, in front of Allah, the path of Fir'aun that continues until today, right? Number one, Quran says it was فَاسْتَخَفَّ قَوْمَهُ. The one that distracts people from the right path is Taghut. Be careful. Do not support Taghut. It might look so good. It might look so, what is the best word I use? So nice and kind, but that's Taghut. Second one, Shaitan, with his, whispering, yuridu Shaitan and yudhillahum. He wants to keep you go astray, be away from the right path. The third one, whoever has artists, those who have talents. What do I mean? Quran says when it comes to Samiri at the time of Musa, وَأَضَلَّهُمُ السَّامِرِي. Samiri was an important person. He was an artist. He created a sculpture of a calf or a cow that could talk. How? Well, the wind comes from one side and the sounds come out of it. He was an architect. He knew that. He was an engineer. He understand how to shape this cow. Go read the ayat of Bani Israel in Quran. He created that. He built that shape of that cow or calf the way that when the wind was coming, it makes noise, and people got deceived by that. People were not stupid at that time, but they look, oh my God, this is God or whatever. He knew how to use art and magic and whatever, you want to put science together to, to keep people go astray from the right path. Third is about those who have power and money. إِنَّا أَطَعْنَا سَادَتَنَا وَكُبَرَاءَنَا فَأَضَلُّونَا السَّبِيلَ. Those people, we follow our leaders. The leaders, some people at the day of judgment, we follow our leaders. The leaders, distracted us from the right path. Speakers, yes, those people who speak very well can do the same thing. Be careful. يَشْتَرِي لَهْوَ الْحَدِيثِ لِيُضِلَّ عَنْ سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ. Those people who just purchase some words put together so nicely to distract people from the right path. So from one side, we understand many people come and says, what should we do? What can help us? What can help our family? Where can we find this remedy for our soul and everything? Do not be distracted. Your life today is exactly the same life of Bani Israel, the same times of Rasulullah, the same times of Nuh, Musa. It's the same thing, same way. It's a little bit changed. We have more tools, more gadgets around us. It's the same story over and over and over. We're the same. They have distractions, they have taghut, they have issue, they have problem, all these things around them. Why don't we get lessons from this? Why don't we get ibrah from these things that what I'm supposed to do? How long am I going to live in this dunya? Because I'm so distracted with this worldly things around me. If I'm sick, if my heart is sick, I need to cure it. Some people, they know there's some sicknesses in them. Why don't you fix it? You think you're eternal in this dunya? Before I come, I was thinking about the speech. I was thinking about myself. If next week they said, Maulana Siraj Yasin, Al-Tamas Dua, just a funeral for him, inshallah, and then we're going to have something, and Khuda Hafiz, that's it. He was alive a week before, yes, but he's gone. Am I ready for it? I know someone, during this condition, may Allah keep you, all of you, safe. He was good. He was alive, healthy. Everything was fine. Nothing, no diseases, no problem. 50-something-year-old got the virus 2 weeks ago. Yesterday, that's it. Healthy. Everything was perfect. Family could not go to him. No one could go. The funeral, the situation, you know what's going on. Done, gone. Khuda Hafiz. Then when it comes to salat, we're so heavy when it comes to salat. Oh my God. When it comes to khums and zakat and helping each other or poor people or being active or following Islam in all matters and all directions. Oh my God, it's so difficult. What if tomorrow is my end of my life? I don't want that jahl to be around me. I will be deceived by my family are like this, we're all like this. Everybody's around us are like this. Let me tell you another hadith so important. وَإِذَا قِيلَ لَهُمْ اتَّبُوا مَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ قَالُوا بَلْ نَتَّبِعُ مَا وَجَدْنَا عَلَيْهِ آبَانَا. We tell them to follow the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He says, we just follow what our family are doing, our ancestors are doing. There's some families, when they want, even one of them or two of them, few of them want to practice something, others are pulling them out of it. No, you shouldn't follow this Islamic things. No, it's too much, you shouldn't do that. Our family, we don't do this. We don't practice these things. What do you mean your family? It's the same thing that the disbelievers are saying. We follow the path of our fathers. The fathers were mushrikeen and disbelievers, right? Then Allah says, وَلَوْ كَانَ الشَّيْطَانُ يَدْعُوهُمْ إِلَىٰ عَذَابِ السَّعِيرِ. If shaitan is inviting them to the adab, to the hellfire, are you still following their path? You should see that that path is wrong. اتَّبُوا مَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ. Follow what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us, what He's inviting us to. So what is the status of my heart? Is my heart is alive or my heart is not alive? It's all about this. The more you follow Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the more you're alive. What do you mean the more you're alive? Yeah, the more you're alive. Your life, your true life depends on what? How much you're following Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Taqwa comes from there. And then, which we found Rasulullah as Tabib, right? We said that. One of the major issue is jahl, and people up until today. Actually, there is a document that close to 100 years ago, there is a letter, still the letters exist in the political documents. The British government at that time sent a letter to their ambassador in India to send this amount of money to the ambassador of us in Iran, and the message was this: keep people, use all these rupees, whatever money we give you, use it only and only and only to keep people in jahl and ignorance. As long as they are in jahl, we're good, we can roll them. What do I mean by this is this. You see the thieves, when they usually go to rob a place or house or somewhere, if it's a house, God forbidden, when people are asleep, when people are neglected, when people don't understand. The professional thieves, if they want to steal something from you, pocket lifting or something, they distract you first, and then they grab whatever they want to grab. Go watch it, documentaries. First, they distract you by something, either pushing you or distract you somehow, and then they do whatever they wanted. Why? Because as long as you're conscious, they can get something that you have, which is so valuable. At night, when it's dark, when you're asleep, then they can do whatever they want to do. This is what they do when it comes to your children. If you're not supervising, if you're not conscious, if you're not aware of what is going on around them, people would steal them from you. This is what Imam Ma'soom said. Be careful so much about your children before others steal them from you. At that time, Imam says, Murja'a. There are, very wrong groups that have a different aqa'id that are wrong. They steal your children away from you. Nowadays, I can see it clearly. Parents, many of them, they're asleep, and the children are being stolen, taken away from them. We have to be careful. We have to see the threat of our time. I'm going to say it very, not open it quickly. Maybe another time, inshallah, we have professional gathering and seminars, we can open it and then talk in details about it. Each era, there is a major threat for communities and for children, for the next generation. Because if just this generation is asleep, the next generation is going to be asleep as well. And then after that, they're all asleep, right? 600 years, Imams says, Rasulullah came 600 years people were asleep because they couldn't hear the voice of haqq. Well, they had haqq. They couldn't hear. They were distracted. Each era, there's a big distractions for the generation in each era. At that time, let's say worshiping idols. How about at our time? At the time of Musa, for example, it's about magicians and others. How about our own time? What is the major threat for our generations, for ourselves and generation? The dunya comes, the disbeliefs comes, the taghut comes with a very soft way and mellow way to distract people away. Very logical way. Everything is fine. No, everybody's perfect, No, we have to believe in everything. Everybody's everything, around. So figure out and find out what is the major threat around your children. You might be so busy with work. You might be so busy with things around you. You might be so busy with different things that you don't even think about what is around your children. They go to school every day, what they're learning, what they're exposed to, whatever. You have to be careful. We are in a world and people deliberately are thinking about stealing your children. Not physically, yeah. There's some people physically, God forbid, and we know that. But more important than that, spiritually, by heart, by aqa'id, by beliefs, whose responsibility is first, Islamic centers, scholars, parents, communities, to understand what are the most important things that we need to work on and to cure these diseases and help our children and ourselves, of course, to find the right path. There are many things that Ahlul Bayt are saying that one of the things can cure is tawassul to Ahlul Bayt. Why? Because tawassul keeps you awake. Tawassul connects, makes you have a strong bond with those people, the healers. It's like you have a doctor around you all the time. Your husband, your wife, they're doctors, right? Always around. Your cousins, you always see them. Hey, be careful. Everything is fine. Don't do that. They help you all the time. Because of that connection around them, you try to be healthy, right? They try to cure. They try to warn you about certain things, right? The same thing. Once you're around Ahlul Bayt, they keep warning you, helping you, encouraging you to something khair, and make sure that you are following the right path, right? So what happened here? We have a lot of healers here we have to understand. First, we have to figure out what is the disease within us, what is putting us to sleep first, and is threatening our children, and try to be attached to those healers, to those atibba and tabibs that can help us to get better and better. Quran is the tool that Rasulullah is the book of, the medication of soul that Rasulullah he has with himself. First, Quran is helping and affecting positive Rasulullah himself and the heart of Rasulullah, because Rasulullah is following Quran and Ahlul Bayt are following Quran. And then is what? Is shafa'un, is the shafa, and he is the heal and the cure for what? For the mu'mineen. And I'll finish with this. Again, Amir al-Mu'min says, my advice to you is 3 things. Make sure you be attached to Quran. Attached means what? Not just recitation, understanding. Because Quran was intafa'u bi bayanillah. Make sure you benefit from the bayan of Allah. Bayan is what? The words of Allah, what he's saying, the saying of Allah, right? Make sure you be benefited from it. وَاتَّعِذُوا بِمَوَاعِدِ اللَّهِ. You get lessons and advice from the advices of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَأَقْبَلُوا نَصِيحَةَ اللَّهِ. And you, look towards understanding and hearing and following those nasiha and advice of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So in that way, it can revive your heart. It can keep you being alive and awakened, inshallah. So then overall, it's important for us to be aware, to understand the situation around us, to be attached to the tabib and the tabba and healers, and inshallah, evaluating our worlds and our life constantly evaluate. Should I watch this show? Is that okay for my children? How about this app? How about this device? How about this video game? Constantly be aware. And I always use this terminology. Have you seen the bodyguards when they're around an official, someone important? You look at them, you think they're agitated, always looking around. They're not calm, always looking for something, right? To make sure that person is safe, that person is okay, nothing is threatening that person. Us, we have to be like this. First, for ourselves, for our taqwa, and then for our children. For ourselves, and yes, first ourselves. Are you sure? First our children? No, first ourselves. You know, if you've been to the airplane, when they are going to describe what is going on and the rules and regulations and help, they said first, when the mask of air, the air mask come down, first you put it for yourself and then your children. To be honest, the first time when I heard, it was like, maybe you made a mistake. First my child, my child is a baby. Then they read more about this because if you don't put it for yourself, if you get unconscious, you can't help the baby. First, take care of yourself, that you're conscious, you understand what is around you, and then you can help someone else as well. First, work on your iman, then tell your children to be better. First, you keep yourself alive, then be careful. Why we cannot sometimes, some people out of the communities of mashallah around us, why? Because they didn't put that mask to be alive themselves first. They are distracted themselves, and they're like, why my child is like this? Well, sweetheart, you were distracted yourself. You're unconscious. When you're asleep, you cannot help someone else. When you're unconscious, you cannot help someone else. That's the whole point. Be conscious. What keeps people unconscious? Dunya. All these things we mentioned. Work. Forget about the other things important around us. I've seen a lot of people around me, to be honest. That's why I keep saying, be careful, live in a balanced life. Do not let your children live like robots, to live like just work, study. When it comes to other things, no. Close the book after school. This is the time for ibadah. We're going to all get together to worship. Well, to do dua. This is the dua kumain. This is something else. These are the things, inshallah. We'll continue talking about this. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa Muhammad wa ajjal farajhum. Allahumma ajjal waliyaka al-faraj wal-afiyata wal-nas wa mudda fi umrihi al-sharif wa zayyana al-arda bitul baqa'ih. وجعلنا من أعوانه وأنصاره وشيعته يا رحمن يا رحيم ثبت قلوبنا على دينك يا الله يا رحمن يا رحيم بحق الحسين hasten the dhuhur of our Imam Mahdi. Let us and our generation always be strong in the path of Islam and Quran. Ya Allah ya Rahman ya Rahim, do not let anyone from our generation be against the path of Islam and Quran. Ya Allah ya Rahman ya Rahim, you help us and let the light of Quran and your words and recommendations that you have for us to affect our hearts, to keep us alive, inshallah. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman Rahim. Those brothers and sisters around us, our communities, they have hajat and requests. Give them khair hajat and requests. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman Rahim. Those who are under difficulties and problems, help them, cure them, give the best of help to them, inshallah. Ya Allah, remove this pandemic, this situation, this wabah away from the communities of the world and our communities, inshallah. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman Rahim, those who are struggling with these problems, with this situation, help them and support them. Those who are sick, cure them, and those who passed away, send the thabab and reward from our gatherings and majalis of your soul, inshallah. Rahim Allah man yaqra al-Fatihata ma as-salawat. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.